What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Zoe, and today I'm talking about all of the books that I read in the month of January. I only read 5 books in the month of January, which is not great because my goal for the year is to read 100 books, which means I'm officially 4 books behind schedule. And I need to definitely pick it up. The reason I feel like I'm behind is probably because I started playing The Sims 4 again. I can't stop playing it, you guys. It's a problem. I just have been really enjoying like that game again, creating Sims, creating the houses, like exploring custom content, which I didn't even know was a thing until now. And I just feel like a whole new world has opened up to me. But I did read a few books. I wish I could listen to them on audiobook and play at the same time, but I'm just not good at multitasking. Let's go ahead and just jump into the books that I did read though. The first book that I read in 2020 in January was The Diviners by Libba Bray. This book is really well known and well loved in this community. I thought it was really fun to start off 2020, the roaring 20s, in a world that took place during the 1920s. I had so much fun reading this book. This follows the story of Evie O'Neill in the 1920s. She has the magical ability to hold an object that is owned by someone and like know that person's secrets. So she can hold on to like someone's handkerchief and know that he is secretly in love with so-and-so, for example. I think she's originally from like Idaho. I can't remember. Some kind of like farming state. She lives with her parents and she's very like rambunctious and rowdy and wants to explore the city. And so her parents exile her to New York City to live with her uncle, but she is absolutely stoked about this. She can't wait to get to the city. She already has a friend there that she knows. Her uncle is also the curator of this like paranormal-ish museum, and he gets involved with the police to investigate some of these suspicious murders that are happening, and then Evie gets involved. She starts using her kind of like magical powers for it. It's really good. I feel like I'm not explaining this book well at all, but it was really, really good. It's a fantasy series, which is something I don't typically read, but I ended up really, really enjoying this. I did listen to the audiobook. It's really great. I loved the accents from that area in the 1920s, just the whole setting, the outfits, the dances, the people, like it just was so good. It was so good. And the way it was told, there was like different parts woven in when our like mystery serial killer would lure his victims in, and I really liked those like creepy scenes. I just really, really, really enjoyed this book. I think what was really, really special about this book was the characters in particular. It's just not hard to love Evie, and then the whole cast of characters as well. I think my only critique is that the plot to me wasn't that interesting. Like I wasn't super invested in the whole storyline as far as like this mystery killer and then this backstory, but I feel like that's going to come into play in the rest of the series. I really do feel like this one probably set us up with just the characters and their world, and I loved this book for that reason. I did go ahead and give this 4 out of 5 stars. And then the next book that I read in January was An Anatomy of Dreams by Chloe Benjamin. I did do an entire vlog of me reading this book if you would like to check it out. This is kind of a hard book to explain. It follows our main character, I think her name was Sylvia, as she is going to school and she meets her husband Gabe, and it's dual timelines, so we're going between the present day where her and Gabe are living in Madison, Wisconsin, which was really cool because I'm from Wisconsin and I've been Madison, so that was a neat aspect of this book for me. But they're living in Madison together and they are working for this scientist that they knew back in school when they went to school, before they were dating, before they were together. There was this teacher who was studying things having to do with dreams, and then he came away from the school and started studying them as a scientist in Wisconsin. We slowly start to find out how Gabe and Sylvia got together, why they're working for this scientist, and kind of the mystery behind what the scientist is actually doing. What this book did really, really good was just keep you intrigued in what was happening. There was always this eerie sense of you're not really sure why they're with this guy, why they're working for this guy. There's some kind of odd mystery that we're just not quite understanding. And then there's like this really great twist at the end, which I did love the twist at the end. I wish I would have said in my vlog these kinds of things. I feel like in my vlog I didn't do a very good job of saying how much I did enjoy parts of this book. Overall, I felt like this one just really let me down. Chloe Benjamin is the author of The Immortalist, which is my favorite book ever. This is her first book, and there was like something lacking throughout the whole story that left me a little bit bored and wanting more. And I thought that the twist at the end, while it was good, it was kind of a cliche twist, and I just left this book like really glad to be done with it. Oh, that is so harsh, but I really, really didn't like this one. I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars. And the next book that I read was for my book club that I participate here in Memphis, and we decided to pick up Bloodlust and Bonnets. This is by Emily McGovern. This is a graphic novel that is truly just really silly. We all wanted something just a little bit light coming from the holidays, something easy to pick up, and that was this. I feel like a lot of you might know Emily McGovern if you're on Instagram. She does like the Slytherin comics. They're really, really funny. I definitely recommend checking her out. But this was a full-length book about this band of unlikely friends, heroes who get together to try and hunt down this vampire. And I just really didn't like this book either. I just was really bored. I thought it was actually very long for what it was. I love me a good graphic novel, but this was just not one of my favorites. There were a couple times that I did laugh out loud, but not enough to actually keep me invested in the story or the characters. So I did go ahead and give this one like, I don't know, this was like a 1 star for me. It was rough. Okay, and then the next book that I read in the month of January, I read for my birthday. I also have a vlog of me reading this book as well, and that was Come Tumbling Down by Shauna Maguire. And I love this series so much. I don't know what else to say. I feel like I talk about these books all the time, but they truly are just so magical and wonderful. I have talked about this one, I feel like, in length. Really quickly, it follows the story of children who, when they come back from their magical worlds, like Alice in Wonderland when she comes back from Wonderland, Dorothy when she comes back from the Wizard of Oz, how that affects them afterwards. It's not particularly about those specific characters, but those are just for example. This one is the 5th book in the series, and I can't really talk about this specific book without giving spoilers, so I'm not going to, but I am just going to go ahead and say that I absolutely loved it. We get to follow a band of characters that we have been following throughout the series, and in particular, some of my favorites from book number 2. I just loved it. I really love this world. I love the characters. I love the writing. Shauna Maguire writes so well. This is like a 200-page book. Each book in the series is so short, and every sentence counts. Like, that's what I really think I love about these stories, is that every single sentence has a purpose and a meaning, and it's so beautifully done. I already cannot wait for the next book. I'm just absolutely obsessed with this series. I did go ahead and give this 5 out of 5 stars. And then the last book that I read was for our book club, 3 Blondes and a Book. I read this with my friends Liv from Liv's Library and Kaylin from Kaylin Abridged, and then a bunch of you read it as well, and that was so much fun. We had a live show discussion, but that was for Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. And if you did check out the live show, you probably already know my thoughts, but I did not like this book at all. So this book follows the story of a girl who lives in a town where this mysterious road appears once every year. And it's kind of a haunted, scary road. There's like a lot of lore around it about this Lucy Gallows girl who was first killed on the road, and then every year she comes back to take another victim if you go on the road. And our main character's sister, a year before, ended up getting lost on the road, or so she thinks. That's what she assumes. And so she gets together with a bunch of her friends the next year to get on the road and try and find her sister. As they get on this road, there's several different gates that they have to pass through to make it to the end and get off the road. So there is a magical road. It is scary. It is creepy. They find themselves in very interesting situations, very creepy situations. This was a very eerie book. I highly recommend picking this up during the month of October, during Halloween. It's perfect for that time of year. Out of all of the YA thrillers that I've read, this is easily the most, I would say, like, graphic and gory. Maybe There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins was also pretty graphic and gory, but this one was just like really creepy. There were some like scenes that I was like, what? Oh, stop. No, I don't want to read about that. This is also told in different formats. So we get like some chapters where there's interviews, we get some chapters where there's evidence of like footage being watched from an iPhone. So it's kind of like Blair Witchy a little bit, like you get these scenes of them in the woods and in the gates and things happening. Overall, this was such a chore to get through. I did not like how many characters there were in this book. So many characters, way too many to keep track of. Several of the people who read this book with us for the book club were taking like notes on each of the characters, and in my opinion, this is just me, maybe I'm a lazy reader, but if you have to take notes while reading a book just to keep the story straight, it's not worth it in my opinion. Like, I don't want to have to super piece together and forget. I feel like that's the job of the author, to keep you reminded of who a person is and what they're like and why they're important to the story. And it was way too hard to keep track of everyone in this book. There was also, I feel like, really unnecessary romantic relationships, confusing romantic relationships that just didn't feel necessary to the plot at all. There were several different twists and turns and things that you needed to keep track of in order for like the story to really make sense. I will say that a lot of my friends loved this book, and I am definitely the minority. So if this book intrigues you, please, please pick it up. Don't just take my word for it. I think this was just really personal for me. I really wanted to like this book. I did read the first 50 pages physically and then listen to the audiobook the rest of the way. I wish I would have kept reading physically. I think that probably would have helped my comprehension of the story a little bit more. But overall, I think if I wasn't reading it for the book club, I probably would have DNF'd it. But I was committed because I wanted to discuss it. I just really did not like this book at all. I think I gave it 1 star as well. Ooh, it was a rough reading month for me. So those are all the books that I read. I really, really liked 2 of them and then pretty much hated the rest of them. What a polarizing reading month for me. I didn't have any like 3-star books, so that's kind of weird and different. Hopefully February will be a little bit better. I have some really exciting February plans, so you can check that out in my February TBR video coming up soon. But yeah, I'm ready to put that month of reading behind me now. Thank you guys so much for watching. You should definitely let me know down in the comments below what was the best book you read in the month of January. I would love to know. I love hearing from you guys and hearing the books that you're reading about. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are. I love you, and I will talk to you soon in my next video. Bye!